Hey ladies and gents, this is the Wiz coming to you with a review of Vitus from the Four Horsemen's Mythic Legions line. So, Vitus, this figure immediately started me thinking about the history of medieval type armored warrior action figures, and because it has some historical elements to it. The helmet looks vaguely like a Roman legionnaire's helmet, maybe coupled with a the helmets that were designed for the movie 300 for the Spartans. And so he looks like a gladiator. He looks like a character who could have actually existed at one time and maybe fought in the Roman Colosseum or something like that. At least as interpreted through Hollywood and those iconic type designs and movies that we've seen. So Vitus, for those of you who haven't been collecting action figures for a long time, or for those of you who have, he takes me back to a kind of dark time. Okay, for example. Cool, right? King Leonidas from the movie 300. You'd get a figure like this. This one was from NECA, and it was an exclusive at San Diego Comic-Con, I believe, not too long ago. And it looked great in the package. I mean, look, the paint apps were great. The sculpt was great. It was movie accurate. You could see a little sheen of sweat. It had blood spatter on it. It had plenty of accessories. So, hey, awesome, right? So, you'd get your exclusive. You'd take it home, and you'd open up the package, and instead of something really cool, you'd end up something like this, okay? You wanted Leonidas and you got Ephialtes, right? Because he was paralyzed from the waist down. You couldn't move him at all. No articulation, so to speak. And, companies put out figure after figure like this, where it would be, you'd expect something great, but hey, look at what you got. The head would move, right? The arms would move, but the legs wouldn't move. They'd be static. So who wants a warrior that's paralyzed from the waist down? I mean, it's one of the worst things that can happen to somebody, right? Especially for a guy. So anyway, this happened to me time after time. I got this figure, Perseus from, I think NECA put this one out as well, from Clash of the Titans. So you're all excited, right? The articulation on the arms looks kind of cool. You go home, you open it up, and then what do you get? You get Perseus with great sculpt and great paint, but he can't move, paralyzed from the waist down again. He was afflicted with this disease, swivel hips, but not much movement because we got swivel thighs too. NECA was notorious for doing this. It happened many a time where, everything above the waist is great, the neck is great, the ankles are great, but he couldn't walk. So you have Perseus, attacking the Kraken, and he'd be walking around like he's got a load in his diaper because he can't move his legs. So anyway, I'm sorry for taking you back to such a dark place, but I just wanted to vent a little bit. Back to the time when I thought NECA called itself NECA because the only joint that had the great full range of motion was the neck. NECA, right? Useless. Okay, so NECA's done a lot better lately. But I also remember when they gave me a Kratos God of War figure that had articulation in it, but then you'd move, the foot and it'd snap off because it had clear plastic on it. So over the years, we've got some other figures from some other companies with better articulation, but we've never had this level of, this combination of articulation and sculpt in a figure. And thank goodness for Mythic Legions. Thank goodness for figures like Vitus, because we can finally, get what we want and build our armies, build our Mythic Legions, right? Vitus, as you can see, comes with the shield that has the lion symbol on it, so he's affiliated with Odysseus. I'm probably going to get rid of this. As far as I'm probably going to get rid of this in favor of the shield that came with this weapon pack, because I just think that this shield suits him better, kind of from a historical perspective. I'm also thinking about maybe removing the folds on him, substituting a bare-chested look and getting sort of that Spartan Leonidas look to him. Both the Spartans in the movie 300 and, of course, the Roman legionnaires had this sort of, I don't know if it's a horsehair comb, but it's quite striking and aesthetically pleasing. So if I give him the round shield and maybe switch him up, he looks more like a gladiator for me, and that's the kind of character that he represents in my own personal mythos. He comes with the sword. He comes with the this spear as well, and like I said, the shield, which I'm thinking of subbing out on him. And he comes with the little holder in his back that all the figures have, so you could put the sword in there. I'm going to compare him to a few figures from the past. Here's one of my favorite figures from the DCUC line, because it's a Four Horsemen sculpt, and it gave us great articulation. Not, you did have to kind of take an X-Acto and slit the skirt so you can get him to move below the waist as well as he should. But this figure from DCUC, I forget the name of the character, and I apologize for that. But yeah, Four Horsemen sculpt is still a really, really awesome figure that holds up well to this day. Here's some other figures. I think these were from Charmed, which may have been more historically accurate when you had the costume, but you had like ugly articulation in the arms. Those swivels in the biceps, those cut joints, really make it look pretty bad. And then when you take the helmet off, it's like, it's a guy wearing eyeshadow or something. So nice figure for the time, but nothing close to the quality that we get from Mythic Legions. Here's a Narnia, a knight from Narnia. Another thing is, don't take his helmet off, because he looks really, really super goofy. But also a cool figure. But there's never been a line where you just get everything. Like I said, his pauldron fell off. Where you get everything, where you get sculpt, you get paint, you get articulation, like Mythic Legions. I mean, none of these figures could do the splits, or do karate kicks, or do any of those things below the waist. None of them had these beautiful rocker ankles, which allow you to get them into all sorts of crouched deep battle poses, and allow them to stand really easily, crouch down, do all kinds of cool stuff. So anyway, that is Vitus, and I highly recommend him as well. He's in the mythos, he's an undead warrior, but in my mythos, he's going to be obviously a gladiator and engage in gladiatorial combat with other figures. All right, is the Wiz signing out.